Good afternoon. Today is the 5th of July 2022. Welcome to the lunchtime news here on TV1 for the News First team, where the people come first. I'm Sanitha Senanayaka. We have a packed bulletin lined up for you this afternoon, but first, let's take a look at the headlines.
President arrives in Parliament. Objection from opposition members. If Anura can rebuild the country's economy in 6 months, he can be the Prime Minister. Ranil states in Parliament. Another committee from the President to solve people's problems. Cabinet decides to waive off unpaid loans of paddy farmers. Another death at a fuel queue. 3 groups behind chaotic situation at fuel station. A revelation by the Ministry of Public Security. A gun attack on Independence Day parade in Chicago. 6 people dead.
On to those stories in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa arrived in the Parliament today. A heated situation arose after the opposition staged a protest during the Prime Minister's speech. In his speech, the Prime Minister elaborated on the current state of the economy and the progress made during talks with the IMF.
We are now participating for discussions as a bankrupt nation. Therefore, we have to face more difficult and complicated situations than previous negotiations. Once a staff-level agreement is reached, this will be submitted to the IMF Board of Directors for approval. But due to the state of bankruptcy our country is in, we have to submit a plan on our debt sustainability to them separately. Only when they are satisfied with that plan can we reach an agreement at the staff level. This is not a straightforward process, but one full of twists and turns. I am pleased to note that we have been able to end the initial round of discussions effectively despite these difficulties. Now the next step is to submit to them the plan on debt restructuring and sustainability, which is being prepared by financial and legal experts Lazard and Clifford Chance. We hope to submit this report to the IMF by August. Once this is done, we will be able to reach an agreement. However, even after this agreement, it must be presented to the IMF Board of Directors for approval. After approval for this plan is provided, a comprehensive loan assistance program will be prepared for a period of 4 years. We're now on that path, taking a country whose economic growth has fallen to a -6 or 7 to a positive economic growth rate in 6 months is an action that has never happened in any country in the world. However, we cannot rule out Anukumar Dissanayaka's opinion that it has not happened so far. It would be great if he has a plan to restore the country within 6 months. With such a plan, we will be able to restore the economy in a short period of time. Not only that, it also sets a good precedent for the world. That is why I am asking MP Anukumar Dissanayaka to submit this plan to the President. If you don't want to go to the President, present it to this Parliament. Let us discuss this in Parliament. If that plan is better and more effective than the plan we are implementing now, we will implement it. Such a plan would be brilliant enough to win the Nobel Prize in Economics. So if there is such a plan, I am ready to resign and let him take up this position. I am ready to give up my position and support that program.
අගමැතිතුමාට ප්‍රකාශය කරන්න අරින්න. ඊට
අනුර දිසානායක මන්ත්‍රීතුමාගේ මේ වැඩසටහන සාර්ථක වෙනවා නම් මම ඉල්ලලාස් වෙනවා. එතකොට මම හිතන්නේ මේ ඇමතිවරුත් ඉල්ලලාස් වෙනවා. අපි ඔක්කොම ඉල්ලලාස් වෙලා
කරුණාකර නිශ්ශබ්ද වෙන්න මන්ත්‍රීතුමා.
If MP Anukumar Dissanayaka's plan is good, I am ready to resign. We should all resign and should appoint MP Dissanayaka as the Prime Minister.
පළමුවෙන්ම අපි මෙතුමා එක්ක කරමු. මම ඒ නිසා විශේෂයෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. මේ වැඩසටහන ඉදිරිපත් කරමු. ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම පාරට බැහැලා මෙතන පෙළපාලියන්ට උවමනා නැහැ. කිසිම පෙළපාලියක් උවමනා නැහැ. අපිට අපිට විශේෂයෙන් කරන්න තියෙන්නේ බ්‍රහස්පතින්දයි සිකුරාදයි මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව රැස් වෙලා ඒ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව රැස්තුනෑන් පස්සේ අපි මේක වාද විවාද කරමු. වාද විවාද කරාන් පස්සේ විශේෂයෙන්ම එතුමාගේ අදහස් අපිට පිළිගන්න පුළුවන් නම් කිසිම බයක් නැතුව එතුමාට මේක බාර ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා මම කියන්න කැමතියි.
ආවේ වැඩ කටයුතු විනාඩි 10කට නතර කරනවා.
Parliamentary sessions recommenced after 10 minutes. Where are the solutions for the people waiting in fuel and gas queues? Where are the solutions for the estate workers? What about the solutions for the collapse of the export sector? Where are the solutions to the issues faced by small and medium scale businesses?
ඔබතුමා කරුණා කළා මේ න්‍යාය පත්‍රය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න දෙන්න. මොකද? න්‍යාය පත්‍රය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න දෙන්න. ඔබතුමා න්‍යාය පත්‍රය ගනුවනේ අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමාට ප්‍රකාශ කරුණා.
You gave the speech to the Prime Minister disregarding the agenda. Give us the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, this is shameful. They're going with a begging bowl to Qatar. What happened on that day?
විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා තාම පිළිතුරු දීලා නැහැ. කොහොමද ඍණ 7ක් තියෙන ආර්ථිකයක්?
The opposition leader has not explained how an economy with a -7 figure can be brought to a positive level. I am disheartened of such an opposition that can't even obtain power. I trained them. I came into power several times. They haven't learnt anything. Come to me again. I will teach you for 2-3 months on how to obtain power. This is the weakest opposition in the country.
උගන්නන්න කොහොමද බලය ගන්න කියලා ලංකාවේ තියෙන දුර්වලම විපක්ෂ කියලා මම කියන්න කැමතියි. එතුමාට ඉතිහාසය අමතක වෙලා තියෙනවා.
He has forgotten history. My father taught him. Now he is asking us to go to him for lessons. He is in parliament thanks to the nationalist.
තනියම ජාතික ලයිස්තුවට පිංච දෙන්න. ඔහු ඉන්නවා ආඩි වෙලා. බින්දුවටම බැස්සුවා.
In a developing story, Secretary of Defence, retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne appeared before the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka today. The Defence Secretary appeared before the Human Rights Commission to provide a statement regarding the recent incident in which an Army Lieutenant Colonel assaulted a civilian at a filling station. The Defence Secretary appeared before the Commission at around 10:30 a.m. today. Taking a look at that news item once more, Secretary of Defence, retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne appeared before the Human Rights Commission today. The Defence Secretary appeared before the Human Rights Commission to provide a statement regarding the recent incident in which an Army Lieutenant Colonel assaulted a civilian at a filling station. The Defence Secretary appeared before the Commission at around 10:30 a.m. today. Up next is Crime Watch.
Crime Watch.
A dead body has been found in the Putlam Aramaduwa Galkunama lake. The body was recovered yesterday. The body has been sent to the Putlam Base Hospital for further investigation. A dead body has been found in the Aludgama Canal in Alpitia. The body was discovered this morning based on a tip-off.
Crime Watch.
In some news regarding the fuel crisis, another person died at a fuel queue today. This was at the IOC filling station in Borella.
The IOC filling station in Kurunagala received fuel after 3 days. A heated situation arose after a group that was not in queue arrived to receive fuel. The IOC filling station in Ambalangoda received fuel after 6 days today. As a result, heavy traffic congestion was reported along the Colombo main road. A long queue of private buses was seen at the CTB depot in Ambalangoda last night to obtain diesel. People have been waiting in queue for many days at the IOC filling station in Vijayarama to obtain fuel. However, people here allege that there are certain irregularities when fuel is being distributed. Although diesel was provided to the IOC filling station in Horana last night, it was still not being distributed this morning. According to our correspondent, this was due to a technical malfunction at the filling station. The IOC filling station in Anuradhapura had not received fuel in 5 days. However, long queues of vehicles can be seen at the filling station. CCTV footage captured a suspect stealing a motorbike parked near a filling station in Ambalangoda. Police said further investigations are underway. All Ceylon Private Bus Owners Association says only 5% of buses are in operation owing to the fuel shortage. Its president Gamanu Wijeratna claims that the Ceylon Transport Board did not provide sufficient stocks of fuel yesterday. The association points out that the government is unable to provide fuel, giving priority to private buses. Meanwhile, the CTB says 4,800 buses will be in operation today. Its chief operating officer ASB Veerasurya said the CTB is hoping to carry out interprovincial and provincial services as usual. The Railway Department said several railway lines will not be in operation today as well. The Railway Control Room said that 4 trains plying from Colombo Fort to Nikambo, Ramukkana and Polgahavela have been cancelled so far. This is due to difficulties faced by its employees in reporting to work owing to the fuel shortage. Deputy Health Services Director General Dr. G. Vijay Surya says if public transport is not strengthened, hospital operations may collapse from next week. He said that health staff are prepared to report to work through public transport. He further added that the Ministry of Transport has been requested to deploy buses for this purpose. However, to the fuel crisis, operations at some hospitals have been disrupted. Operations at the Gull and Bindunweva Regional Hospital in Anuradhapura has come to a standstill for 3 days. Hospital authorities said at present only emergency services are being operated with the participation of a minimum number of employees. The Ministry of Public Security said the members of the armed forces who are deployed in the vicinity of filling stations will have to be removed from those duties. This decision is based on the request received by various parties to remove the members of the tri-forces from their duties in view of the distressing conditions around the filling stations. Secretary to the Ministry, S. Hettiarati, said that although a final decision has not yet been reached to remove the members of the tri-forces from their duties, such a situation may arise in the future. He added it has been revealed that some political activists, underworld groups and subversive groups are involved in several chaotic scenes in the vicinity to the filling station. The Ministry of Public Security points out that in view of the insufficient deployment of police officers for the security of filling stations, the assistance of members of the tri-forces had to be taken for the related duties. Secretary to the Ministry, S. Hettiarati, said that police will be required to preserve the peace in civil matters and all the departments have been advised to seek the assistance of the armed forces only in a case of necessity. The Railway Station Masters Association warns that there is a risk of railway operations coming to a standstill. Trains are the most used mode of transport in the country at present.
Don't put the passengers onto the streets. Equipment used for maintenance purposes are at a short supply. There is no mechanism to obtain them as well. Thus, railway operations will come to a standstill soon. Moreover, train tickets are being sold at a very low price as of now. Do not inconvenience the passengers by issuing tickets now.
A protest was held in Kahatagastigiliya demanding the resignation of the government. It was organized by the Trade Union Collective and area residents. The group demanded the immediate resignation of the President and Prime Minister.
Meanwhile, Litro Gas Lanka Limited officials have been summoned before the Committee on Public Enterprises or COPE this afternoon. This is to ascertain whether there have been any irregularities in the purchasing of gas. Litro says a new gas shipment is expected to reach Sri Lanka's shores on the 9th. The ship is transporting around 3,700 metric tons of gas. A Litro company spokesperson said that 2 more ships are scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka on the 11th and the 16th. Litro says it is currently in possession of around 4 million empty gas cylinders. It added the usual sale of gas is expected to resume from the 11th. In more local news, a cabinet subcommittee on the cost of living has been reappointed under the chairmanship of the President. The committee includes 7 other members. Policy decisions and solutions to maintain the cost of living are to be implemented through this committee.
The cost of living and inflation has increased during the recent past. Given such a situation, Cabinet approval has been granted for the appointment of the Cabinet Subcommittee on the Cost of Living and to appoint a Food Security Committee. The main purpose of this Cabinet Subcommittee on the Cost of Living is to provide practical solutions to the Cabinet. Its chairman will be the President. The Prime Minister, Fisheries Minister, Transport Minister, Minister of Roads and Highways, Agriculture Minister, Minister of Power and Energy, Minister of Cultivations, Minister of Trade and Food Security will also be a part of this committee. To assist the subcommittee, a Food Security Committee will be established with the participation of ministry secretaries. It will be headed by the Minister of Trade. There are a large number of paddy farmers that obtained loans. For farmers that obtained loans who cultivate in land areas less than 2 hectares, they will not have to pay back the loans they obtained from state banks. The cabinet approval has been granted for that. It will be announced in the coming budget statement as well.
Look at your weather update for this afternoon. According to the Met Department, showers will occur in Sabaragama province and in Kandy, Norelia, Gaul and Mathura districts. Meteorologist Buddhika Bandhuratna said there may be showers in the western and northwestern provinces. The Disaster Management Centre says that people living along the western slopes of the central hills should be vigilant in light of the poor weather conditions.
Power failures have been reported from the Hatton and Muskelia area due to uninterrupted rainfall since midnight yesterday. The temporary police outpost in the Hatton-Malliapur area has also been damaged due to strong winds. The Disaster Management Centre said motorists should practice extreme caution due to foggy conditions in those areas.
In more local news, a special meeting organized to discuss the revival of Sri Lanka's tourism industry was held in Colombo last afternoon. This included a group of Indian journalists and social media activists.
The meeting was organized under the auspices of Minister of Tourism and Lands Harin Fernando.
And from past 2 days here I am traveling and I'm roaming on the road, and especially I visited a lot of places and I find this place is so safe for everyone, especially for the female as well, like the single solo traveler. So you do come, you visit and explore the place.
I have been here for the past 2 days and experience in Colombo was really fun. It's safe, it's happy and it's really fun. I'll always be keeping with beautiful memories of Sri Lanka.
This is my 3rd time to Sri Lanka and I am absolutely in love with this country. We'll be going to Bentota, we'll be going to Novara Elia, we'll be going to Mihintale, which I'm very excited about. I know Sri Lanka is going through a tough time right now, but your spirit, the spirit of the people and the warmth with which you welcome us. So thank you and Ayubhavan.
රටක ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් සංචාර
A country may have problems, but if the arrival of tourists stops, it could cause a bigger crisis for the country. Therefore, together with the tourism board and a few people from the hotel industry, these tourists are taking a 10-day tour around Sri Lanka, because we confidently say that between July 10th and 15th, this petrol crisis in Sri Lanka will come to normalcy. They're trying to solve these issues just like they solved the fertilizer problem and the gas problem. It is unfortunate that this country has not been allowed to run in normalcy for 3 months. So today, all these people have been brought together, and after some programs like this, we will send a group to India next month, where they will bring a set of tourists to Sri Lanka, and likewise we have planned to bring Europeans to Sri Lanka during the winter seasons. So we believe that this will be a success.
යුරෝපයේ කට්ටිය ගේන්නත් අපේ ලොකු වැඩ පිළිවෙලක් තියෙනවා. ඒක විශ්වාස කරනවා මේ සාර්ථක වෙයි කියලා.
Here on, I beg your pardon, the end of this edition of Lunchtime News. For more details on these stories, you can log on to our website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First team, where the people come first, I've been Senator Sena Naik. Take care and stay safe.